clinical psychologist, Dr. Kate Roberts.
Dr. Kate Roberts is a clinical psychologist. She's also a parent.
Joining us now is Dr. Kate Roberts, parent coach, licensed clinical psychologist, and certified school psychologist.
I'm joined now by Dr. Kate Roberts, a clinical psychologist. Clinical psychologist and parent coach Dr. Kate Roberts is here with some tips for parents.
Bullying is more of a pervasive pattern. It's a way of interacting that doesn't change. Try and really focus on other things besides, possessions, material items at the holidays. Let's talk about how we want to act when we come back to school. Let's talk about how much we appreciate our teachers. Let's talk about what we can do for each other and the community at large. And I would give credit to people if they could come forward as a first step of owning it and take some responsibility. And it's an indication of readiness to change. You have to think of it in terms of buckets. Academics and testing is one bucket, sports is another bucket, and then some extracurricular activity.
So what are the warning signs that you would advise parents to look for in their kids when they're in sports and other things?
I think that any time, your child is in a different kind of a situation, if they're playing up, or if there's not a lot of diversity, if they're somehow vulnerable, you need to keep the dialogue going. You need to check in with them daily.
Brothers and sisters fight growing up. Yes. So how do you know what's just regular sibling rivalry and what's escalated to more than that?
Well, I think it's really hard for parents to know, and I think that that's why this study is so important, because parents have minimized it, not intentionally, but just saying, well, that's just normal sibling rivalry or competition. But what it is it's a more pervasive pattern where one sibling is intimidating another.
At what age does a child really, understand what's going on and really have strong emotions about it and show that they're upset or anxious?
Well, I think that children can have strong emotions and upset and anxiety, even at young ages, very young ages, because they're getting it from their environment.
Students did have the option today to meet with grief counselors, but we want to know what they're being told, what's being looked at here. This is clinical psychologist Dr. Kate Roberts. Doctor, thank you so much for being here. What a difficult task for the people who have to tell these kids, and how do they, what do they do? How do they approach this? And this doesn't happen every day.
Well, it doesn't, and we don't understand it. But I think the first thing is they have to manage their own emotions, and they have to listen, and they have to answer questions, and they have to answer them honestly without getting too detailed. So they shouldn't fill in the blanks, but they should reassure students that things are under control, that they're safe, and really try and hear what their concerns are so they can address them.
This is important for the students, is it not? There might be some students out there who say, I'm not going to go to that. But this is really so unimaginable and so hard to wrap your head around that you need, I would say you would need someone to sort of help you get through it, but beyond your parents and beyond your family and beyond your friends.
Well, it can really be an opportunity to hear what your peers are thinking, to hear what other people are thinking, and to share. And through that process, actually, people can heal, from this kind of tragedy. And get to express themselves and learn from others.
I think what's difficult in this case, at least for a lot of people, is that we don't know the why.
Right.
And because of that, it's so hard to sort of digest exactly what happened here. I think if you, this person was this way because of this, and this is the reason why, you almost can understand it a little better. Not that you can ever understand something so horrific, but without that motive and without that knowledge, it makes it so difficult for anybody to comprehend.
It's very difficult. We have to learn to live with the uncertainty right now, and we have to learn to provide ourselves with reassurance that we are safe, that this is not something that happens routinely, and we have to get back to our routines and regain some power over our lives.
Is that what you would say to any parent who's watching this, who has kids in that school, or kids in any school who are saying, oh, we feel so vulnerable?
I would say it's a tragedy. I would say we don't understand it. I would say we're going to do what we can to make the world a better place. I would focus on how the world is a good place, and I would empower students. Okay, so we can't fix this. What can we do? Let's talk about how we want to act when we come back to school. Let's talk about how much we appreciate our teachers. Let's talk about what we can do for each other and the community at large. Let's make this place a better place, and we'll let the experts who know how to understand this kind of crime focus on that.
Excellent job, clinical psychologist Dr. Kate Roberts out of the North Shore. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.